Good afternoon, everyone, from a rather warm UK. I think it's the hottest day of the year so far, and the temperature is certainly intensifying at Norwich City as well. It's been a hell of a few days, hasn't it? The first game of the championship season against Oxford United ended in defeat, and dismal defeat at that. We had the news of Jonathan Rowe excluding himself from the matchday squad on the morning of the game after being in the plans for the entire week, telling that Johannes Hofdorp that he wasn't motivated to play in the first team. And there's obviously, it's going to be a seriously busy week in terms of moving and shaking. Stevenage await in the EFL Cup on Tuesday, and actually that looks set to be a fairly big game now in terms of the way that Johannes wants to set up his team going forwards, and it's an opportunity to bet in some of these younger players that maybe won't get thrown straight into league action. So it's gone from a bit of a Mickey Mouse Cup match to something of great importance for the Norwich hierarchy, and something that I have to really concentrate on. And it's the first competitive game of the season at Carrow Road. Fans will be expectant of a performance far better than what we saw against Oxford at the Kassam. And as I say, that presents opportunity. The latest on Jonny Rowe is fascinating. He's now being made to train with the under-21 squad. As I say, he went to Johannes Hofdorp and his coaching staff on Saturday morning and excluded himself from the matchday squad, having been in the plans. He said that he wasn't motivated, didn't want to play a part. Norwich have obviously taken that seriously and will make him pay for that. He will train with the under-21s for the foreseeable until either an exit plan or is kind of met, or a suitable bid comes in. And this is the issue. This isn't a situation that kind of Adam Eder is in, where you feel as if a move is imminent. Marseille had put in a bid, but it was an absolute mile off the valuation that Norwich City set. Leeds United are still yet to put a bid in for Jonny Rowe, so it leaves the club in a really difficult situation. It leaves the club in a situation where they've got a player on their hands that doesn't want to play, and now isn't in the first team plans. It sets a statement to other clubs going, "Come and get me," which is fine. It really undervalues his market value. He's gone from being a player that Norwich can demand a really high fee for to a player that is now training with the youth squad, and Norwich will probably be thinking that the best option here is now to sell him, and that probably comes at a cost, and not a good cost. So that's a really difficult situation, and I think he's been advised poorly. Granted, he is a grown man and can make his own decisions, but these professional footballers require help, require assistance, and clearly that help hasn't come, and the suitable help hasn't come. And now they're starting to feed the Nationals, and I see the Telegraph were reporting this morning that it wasn't his decision to exclude himself from the first team squad. Well, take that with a pinch of salt. It was his decision to exclude himself, and whether that was from his representation or himself, it came from the Jonathan Rowe camp. It wasn't the club telling Jonny Rowe to exclude himself. It definitely came from the other way round. So that's a difficult situation, and one that the club are now going to have to navigate. The pleasing thing is that Johannes Hofdorp has handled this extremely well. He's disciplined Jonathan Rowe. He's set a precedent. And that is, if you disrespect the culture and me and my staff, you will be reprimanded for it, as it should be. The culture at this football club needs to be better. It needs to be one of respect. It needs to be one of cohesion and community. Otherwise, it simply isn't going to work. You need a full squad pulling in the same direction. It doesn't feel as if that has been the way for the last few months, certainly, and maybe predating Johannes's reign at Norwich City. So he needs to nip that in the bud really quickly. He's inherited a squad that he probably has some players there that don't necessarily want to be there, and well, that's starting to rear its ugly face. And he needs to work that out quickly and move people on. And if those people are trying to push through moves and in an unprofessional manner, then then that needs to be dealt with. And it's just sad that this situation has come to this. The Jonny Rowe story should have been one of, similar to maybe a James Maddison or a Max Aarons, where you know that at some stage they're going to outgrow the football club, and you know that a transfer move will come, but it shouldn't end in this way. At least with Max and with James, a pathway was kind of set out, and they were always professional. There was a route, and they played until, you know, they didn't have to anymore. And I just didn't expect this of Jonny, and I don't think it looks great on him. It certainly doesn't look great on his representation, and it gives Johannes Thorpe a really difficult decision to make early on, and it's an unnecessary decision that he's having to make. This shouldn't be part of the job. He should be, you know, concentrating on coaching and getting a system in place, not dealing with stupid transfers from Norwich to Marseille. And as I say, this Stevenage game offers opportunity, and it offers a chance to maybe right some wrongs of the weekend. And look, Stevenage are a League One side. They did win their opener against Shrewsbury 1-0. They came up through the playoffs in League 2 last season. So similar situation really to Oxford, just a league above. Would love to see Brad Hills in there. I think if we see Duffy and Hanley starting again, then let's all go home and start supporting Great Yarmouth Town, because it's probably time to give up. But I think the likes of Kamara, Hills, probably Liam Gibbs, Archie Mayer, those types will be involved and should be involved. And hopefully it's a good opportunity to piece some kind of identity together and show fans that they should believe, and they can believe in this system and in this reign. And hopefully some of the nonsense that we had to suffer at the weekend will be eradicated, and we can kind of put that behind us. Look, I think until this transfer window is shut, there is going to be drama, there's going to be more incomings, there's going to be more outgoings, and we're just going to have to navigate that to the best of our abilities. It's happening up and down the division. This first month, right up until the first week of September, is carnage for most EFL sides, probably more so for Norwich at the moment. But that's the latest on Jonny Rowe. Made to train with the under-21 side. We'll trade with them until either a deal is arranged with Marseille or Leeds or maybe someone else. No bids of substance have come in. Certainly nowhere near the valuation set out by Norwich City. But they do want him involved back in the first team when he shows that his attitude is correct, and he's earned the respect once again of his teammates and coaching staff. But until that point, he will be in the under-21s.